What are some of the indicators that someone may be a target of gang stalking? It's January 14th, 2025, at early afternoon. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. I hope everybody's doing well today. It's actually really cold. It was like 14 degrees this morning. Very crunchy outside. The sun is shining right now, which is really good. So it's going to melt a few things. But I received a response to a question that I responded to a while back, and it was on Quora. And the question is, and there are a couple of questions that I'd like to go back to because somebody has responded. So the question was, where did it just scroll away? What are some of the indicators that someone may be a target of gang stalking? So I responded, in more detail: surveillance or monitoring, electronic harassment, social isolation, the smear campaign, psychological treatment, the psyops and stuff, unusual patterns of noise and disruptions, vandalism of property, interference, health and emotional effects, interference at work, financial life, and then, to document everything and, communicate with other people who are in similar experiences. So this guy responds yesterday. He said, gang stalkers are government employees. They're local police, civilians such as informants, the intelligence community, who are given access to spy through civilian eyeballs that have BCIs in them. And he says it's a fact. So I respond to him, that would be illegal and covertly implanted. And he responds, the government uses BCI in the form of a butterfly that appears out of nowhere and flies into the victim and the victim's eye to target Americans. He said that is a fact. Now I'm going to tell you, and this is true story, that has happened to me here in rural Kentucky, where out of nowhere something will fly into my eye. And also out of nowhere I'll be gardening, in the inner field. I'll like bend down, and I'll feel like a spike, like that somebody hit me with a needle. And I'll look around, and it's not an insect. I don't feel an insect. I don't see an insect. There are no bugs around. And I guarantee you, these cloaking people that come up behind me and just spike me, they inject me. And yes, this is not sci-fi. This is the real world that we're living in. This is the technology that's available. They like to isolate the victim. And if they have an environment like the one that I live in, they can hide anywhere. They can blend into a tree, shrubs. When you're living in the suburbs and your houses are close together or apartment buildings are close together, they have different kinds of access to you, but not the level that they can cloak and hide on acreage and behind buildings and trees. And they literally come up behind you. They have literally stolen a cat off my porch wearing a cloaking device. And I know that they stole her because a couple of weeks later they decide they're going to throw 3 bags of poop, cat poop, in front of my mailbox, in front of my driveway, etc. Yeah, they have a history. These losers around here have a history of throwing trash on my property, which is really an indication of who they are. It's a projection of who they are. Psychologically, these are psychopaths, criminals. Anybody that works for the government that would do this for a living has got to be off their rocker. They have no morals, no values, no empathy. And it's not just about getting a paycheck, right? You can get a paycheck pretty much doing anything. You don't have to work for the government harassing and tormenting other people and knowing that you are responsible for the takedown of this country. So the answer was that the government uses a BCI. Now, what is a BCI? It's a brain-computer interface. in the form of a butterfly that appears out of nowhere and flies in the victim's eye to target Americans. And that's a fact. And that has happened to me. I'm not sure it was a butterfly. It was definitely a flying thing that literally came out of nowhere. And I remember looking around thinking, it's cold out. There are no flying objects. There's nothing flying around. And it literally had come out of nowhere and hit me in the eye. And I had to come into the house because my eye was tearing. I didn't want to rub my eye with my gloves and stuff. So that has happened to me here. And that's pretty much probably why they steal your glasses and your sunglasses. They don't want you walking around with glasses. The glasses will prevent anything from flying into your eyes. This is why now, even in the summertime, I'm walking around with headbands around my ears, because they send things to fly into your ears and up your nostrils. I kid you not, this is what they do. So yeah, I've got some large, wide headbands that I'll put over my head and over my ears. And in the wintertime, it's no big deal because I'm wearing hats all day long outside anyway. Even in the house sometimes, like right now, I'm wearing a hat. So, I just want to give you a heads up on that. And please leave a comment down below if you've experienced this. Have you experienced something immediately flying into your eye, comes out of nowhere? Now, the other question that I responded to a while back was, do gang-stalkers poison? So, let me just pull up my response. And I hope everybody's doing well today. It's very cold here. I had three separate Federal Express deliveries that delivered approximately 400 pounds of pet food. And instead of driving it down my driveway, dumped it outside of my gate. It took me more than 2 hours to unpack it and walk it back to my house because it was so heavy. So my response back in December was yes. They poison the interior of your residence with dust, nanotech, and poison your food. They rot food. They burn food. They create fungus and mold in food, even newly purchased organic food. They infect your pet's water and poison their food and bedding. And under a black light, you can see yellow drippy substance on surfaces in your bathroom. There are white powdery substances that form on interior windows. They will infect your resident with insects, dusts, powders, and use them on your clothing to stain, darken, and alter the color, making them look old and worn, even if they're new. They carry around vials of insects to let loose in your home, tiny spiders, ants, flies, and they'll spread them around the outside of your windows and doors. So that was my response. The response that I received an hour ago was, yes, all of those things, plus probably glyphosate or some other carcinogen and heavy metals to make you more affected by their EMF weapons. Take and collect samples. Take and collect samples. All crimes against the Constitution and against the free will of innocent American citizens will be balanced out by all involved before they are able to leave this universe. This is a built-in law of this creation. There is no escape possible. And thank you so much for that. I haven't responded yet. But yes, glyphosate. Now this person is now validating something that one of my subscribers wrote to me privately. I can't tell you his name. He's a retired Navy guy. And he's quite educated. He sent me his degrees. So he knows what he's talking about. Let me see if I can just find it here, because he warned me. He sent me photos. Oh, here it is. He sent me photos of his grass. And he said in the heading, they are using glyphosate, red herbicide with adews. He said, I too am a targeted individual. Let me just see what I can. I'm a former 20-year active duty Navy. I'm not going to say all the stuff. These people are cowardice, demonic, jealous lowlifes of every walk of life. I can't. There are a lot of things that I can't say because it would identify him. They poison our lawn, roses, grass trees, drinking water with red herbicide called glyphosate. It literally kills overnight, and that's exactly what happens to me. It leaves a red tint on everything and burn marks, along with the directed microwave weapons. These guys are ex-military and SF-trained degenerate robots. They get a charge out of making the U.S. upset and killing things, anything. Whatever you enjoy, they want to destroy it, just like Lucifer the Destroyer. Our Lord is a builder, a carpenter, like, I can't say. Enclosed is proof of red herbicides on my lawn and trees, just like yours. I caught it after I put plastic wrap around my plants, and it even dripped on my camera. They know they're in the last days, and their time is short on this earth. I believe the tribulation started October 5th, 2024. They're setting the brief 7-year Antichrist kingdom New World Order. So thank you so much, sir, and for serving us and whatever. And I will show you what his lawn looks like. Let me see here, because I just want to make sure that you don't see his name. Looks just like mine, right? Looks just like mine. Just like he said, it happens overnight. Just happens overnight. And let's see. Oh, and he sent me a photo of his trees, about how his trees, the leaves are falling off, and where the leaves are falling, the leaves are turning red. And this is exactly what's happened to my trees. And you can see at the top, the leaves are missing. Check it out. Through the top, all the leaves are missing. And then look at that. And no, it's not fall. This happens during the summertime. This is exactly what's happening to mine. So anyway, I look forward to your questions and comments down below. So the questions we answered were, do gang-stalkers poison? And yes, they do. They also use glyphosate. And the other question was, what are some indicators that someone may be a target of gang stalking? The response was the government uses a BCI, brain-computer intercept or whatever, in the form of a butterfly that appears out of nowhere and flies in the victim's eye to target Americans. That's a fact. That could be why my eyes have been so teary. Since May, the middle of May, my eyes have been targeted. I realized that I have radiation poisoning in both of my eyes. It was starting to get a little bit better about a month ago, and now it's started to get worse again. It doesn't matter what I do. If I put eye drops in, wash my face with baking soda, tea tree oil, rose oil, castor oil, almond oil, apricot kernel oil, it's all temporary. They have completely made the rims around my eyes very scaly, so that it's very hard for me to even open them to their full capacity. This is absolutely disgusting, and this is why they isolate the victim. They don't want anybody to see what they're doing to you. They don't want anybody to validate what they're doing to you, and that's why they isolate the victim. So I'm going to sign off for now. I hope everybody's doing well. I look forward to comments down below.